Fundamentalism is a strict adherence to specific principles, doctrines, or beliefs, often tied to religion, ideology, or cultural norms. It is characterized by a belief in the absolute correctness of these principles and a rejection of alternative views. Fundamentalism frequently seeks to preserve traditional beliefs and values, often resisting changes brought about by modernization or new interpretations. This approach tends to emphasize a literal interpretation of text or teachings, whether religious, political, or philosophical, to ensure that the original intent is maintained. Fundamentalists often view their beliefs as a foundation for a moral or just society, which they feel is threatened by contemporary trends or external influences. One key characteristic of fundamentalism is its resistance to change. Fundamentalist groups tend to view changes in society, culture, or religion as threats to their core beliefs. They work to maintain what they see as the original or true way of thinking, often opposing modernization or reinterpretation. Another defining trait is an emphasis on literalism. Fundamentalists typically interpret texts, such as religious scriptures or political documents, in a strict literal sense. They reject metaphorical or contextual interpretations, believing that any deviation undermines the text's authority. A sense of exclusivity is also common. Fundamentalist groups often see themselves as the sole bearers of truth, rejecting other perspectives as incorrect or even dangerous. This can create a strong sense of us versus them, where outsiders or those with differing beliefs are viewed with suspicion. Militancy or activism can be a characteristic as well. Many fundamentalist movements are actively involved in promoting their beliefs and combating what they see as opposing ideologies. This may involve political lobbying, public demonstrations, or in some cases, more confrontational actions to achieve their goals. Now let's look at some examples of fundamentalism in different contexts. In religion, fundamentalism often manifests as a return to traditional practices and interpretations. For instance, groups within various religious traditions may emphasize strict adherence to scripture or rituals, rejecting modern reinterpretations or adaptations. These movements often arise as a response to perceived threats to their traditions. In politics, fundamentalism can appear as a strict adherence to foundational principles, such as constitutions or manifestos. Political fundamentalists may reject compromise or flexibility, focusing instead on preserving what they see as the original intent of their governing frameworks. In education or culture, fundamentalism might take the form of a movement to preserve traditional ways of teaching, dress, or behaviour. These groups might resist the integration of new ideas or technologies, arguing that they corrupt or dilute established norms. However, fundamentalism is not without its criticisms. One major criticism is that it can foster intolerance. The belief in a single, unchangeable truth often leads to the rejection of other perspectives or practices. This can create divisions in society, with fundamentalist groups becoming isolated from or hostile toward others. Another criticism is that fundamentalism may stifle progress. By resisting change or new interpretations, fundamentalist movements can slow down advancements in science, technology, or cultural understanding. Critics argue that this resistance can hinder societies from addressing modern challenges effectively. Finally, fundamentalism is often criticized for its potential to escalate conflicts. The strong us versus them mentality can create an environment where disagreements become deeply entrenched and tensions can escalate into open hostility. This is particularly problematic when fundamentalist beliefs influence political decisions or social policies, as it can polarize communities and create long-term divisions.